talent can be developed through hard work, good strategies, persistence, dedication, and input from others. Where focus goes, energy flows. So focus your energy on continuous learning and stop wasting time thinking about looking smart. Build resistance, build vulnerability, build courageousness, and face adversity with a smile. Become comfortable with uncomfortable. You know, the only person that you need to prove anything to is you. Imperfect action trumps perfect inaction. Stop wasting time and get on with it. Failure is part of learning, so start learning by taking action.
Kristian Lavolsi, you make me nervous every time with what sound effects you're going to pull out next. Welcome to the hot seat.
Hi, Simone. I'm getting a little creative now. No, how are you? We were just saying that it's quite ridiculous. We have spoken so much this week already, and we've just come out of the back end of 3 amazing days with our Evolved Mastermind clients up in the beautiful Adelaide Hills. So it's kind of cool, and it's very calm.
It is. It was my first time seeing anything but your office in Adelaide and a few restaurants. So it was very nice for me. It was very exciting and wonderful to spend so much time with our clients. The weather was pretty good to us too, actually. For what was predicted, we got lucky.
I mean, that storm was ridiculous that came in. We had a beautiful clear day on Friday, and that was spectacular. And then as I was presenting on Saturday, at 10 o'clock, that storm hit, and it was meant to be around for the whole weekend. And yet it was pretty violent while we're working. And then on Sunday for the fun day, the big winery tour day and the amazing lunch at Pike and Joyce. I mean, wow. No wonder why it won best winery restaurant in Australia. I mean, what a phenomenal lunch.
That was an experience in itself. I think even if it was just the lunch, there would have been no disappointment. It was fantastic. And I did buy some of their wine that I managed to squish into my suitcase on the way home. So I look forward to opening that. But yeah, we spent the weekend with our clients teaching, educating, sharing, strategizing on all different things. And 3 of the things we focused on was finance, time management and goal setting, as well as lead magnets and leading with value, which was so much fun. We had an awesome day. So I thought it'd be really fitting today that we actually talk about learning. Now, I know this is something that you're so passionate about, and that we as an organization in Business Growth Mindset, learning is just a part of our culture and what we want to do. So I'm going to jump straight into my first question for you today and ask you, should we always be making an effort to learn and educate ourselves?
The answer is yes.
Yeah.
Would you like anything else there? Yeah. Look, it's funny. You've just asked me one of the first ever closed-ended questions that I could just literally go, yes. The reality of it is, if you stop learning, you are dying. I mean, the world moves at such a ridiculously fast pace. And if you're not keeping up with your own role, let alone your own professional development, and not even worrying about your personal development, you're still going to be left behind. So to me, learning is part of everyday life, but you don't have to go and study to learn. What you can do is just become more self-reflective. That's one of the big things that we taught at the Momentum weekend was, we spent 4 or 5 hours just doing reflective journaling with the members. And then we turned that into strategic thinking, and the amount of lessons that you can learn just from that exercise are huge. So I think this is where people get confused, that learning isn't going to university, going to do a course. It's not even learning from everyday life. It's being reflective in your daily life and then being strategic in what you do with that learning.
Yeah, I think that almost felt like a mic drop moment for me right there, just that realization. Because when you're young, if you spend 4 or 5 years at uni, like you can get in that mindset that you're like, oh, I'm done with learning. But it's really then the application of the learning that you're talking about within that, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, right on time, which is perfect. And I'm going to lead straight into my next question, which is there a time where we should stop learning for a greater purpose? Is there a reason why you might decide at a certain point in your life that that's just enough? And I know for me, maybe it's learning too many things or listening to too many people at that time. That's when people like me who really like to educate can overwhelm themselves in that process of wanting to learn.
Well, thank you for answering my question. Yes, you can be listening to too many people. Um,
Mm,
I love people who learn, but once you come and work with me, I pretty much tell people to stop everything else they're doing. I'm unconventional,
mm,
and I don't follow a prescribed cookie cutter or handbook, uh, and um, and so I need people to be really in the zone to understand um,
mhm,
the vibe, right? And that's really important. I mean, obviously, I have enough degrees and masters on the wall, and soon I'm sure in the next 3 years we'll have that PhD at some point when I get to it. But
mhm,
I think that we're always doing research, so
mm.
there is a plethora of information, and you have to draw the line at who you're going to listen to, and you're
Yeah.
better off listening to one person than listening to three. I
Yeah.
recall when I had 8 mentors.
And just on that, even if they are experts in their individual areas, do you still feel it's competing
Well,
or conflicting?
well, I mean, let's use one of our clients. I won't mention his name, but we're masterminding, and he put up some stuff, and he goes, "Oh, the marketing mentoring group that I'm in said that this is not a good idea." And then I looked at it, I was like, "What are you talking about? Are they looking at this in isolation, or are they just stupid?"
Mm,
Like this is exactly what your name, but they couldn't understand how to strategically switch it. So I was able
yeah.
to switch it for him. Then the whole collective also got involved. Went, actually, that is bang on. I now have intrigue. I would now buy from you. But there's a really good example. This person thinking they were doing the right thing are paying to be in a marketing mastermind, and
Mm,
yet the answers they were giving him were wrong. And
yeah.
and they're wrong because they're not strategists.
Yeah.
Right? Just because you know how to build a funnel doesn't make you a marketing strategist. Just because
Mm.
you know how to set up SEO or Google AdWords, it doesn't make you a freaking strategist. I mean, look, I get passionate about this shit because it pisses me off, right? And you got all these people saying, I will write you a strategy when they have no concept of strategic thinking in the first place. And
Mm,
it really irritates me. And if that is you and you're out there and you're giving that kind of shit advice to people, I'll hunt you down. I'll find you because that's enough, right? Like
mm,
so many people are falling trap to all of these bullshit artists, right?
yeah.
Like let's be perfectly honest. I don't care who's listening, right? There are so many coaches out there that are full of shit, right?
Mm,
There are so many people that claim to be advisors that have got no experience whatsoever. You want to
yeah.
challenge my credentials? Go for it. It's on LinkedIn, right?
Yeah.
All my parchments are photographed. They're all up there too, right? Like I got nothing to hide, right? I
Mm,
can show you every business that's succeeded. I can show you every business that's failed of mine, right? And the point is, it's not about your success or failure. It's how far you educate yourself. So it's a very fitting topic. Like
yeah.
every time I've been challenged, I've gone and studied. And I've got a
Mm,
combination of courses, university degrees. Um, you know, hell, I've been an adjunct professor of Sandstone University, right?
mm,
I've been an entrepreneur in resident of one of the biggest accelerators and incubators in Australia, right? Like, let's find an advisor out there that has those credentials, right?
mm.
And someone today said to me, said, Kristian, your biggest problem is no one knows you exist. I said, it's great because I haven't got the capacity to do much more, right? So, but the reality is, even our own clients, we have to remind them, stop listening to too many people. And then the story I was going to say to you before, and I know we're over time, but in my young years, I was always taught to have mentors, and I ended up having 5, 6, even 8 mentors at any given time. They were all incredibly amazing human beings, but man, they had different opinions because they only knew what they knew. Does that
Yeah.
make sense? And so I got conflicted information all the time. And eventually I made mistakes by listening to people. Whereas if I just listened to my own intuition because I was good enough already, I would have probably still failed, but I wouldn't have failed as badly. Right? Because I was trying to do too many things. Whereas today, I listen to one person. That's it. And I hire an advisor above me that has done more than me. I don't want to be the smartest person in the room in that conversation. As soon as I am, bye-bye, I'm out.
Yeah.
Because when I'm spending that kind of money, when I'm spending $5,000 an hour, right, I want someone to be better than me.
Yeah.
So I can then instill that knowledge into my team, into my people, into my customers, right? But it doesn't stop there. I mean, we're about to launch the AI persona formula, right? Which is our new business. I dived deep into AI years ago, but it wasn't until now, when the market is ready, that we're going to give people practical, advisable steps.
Yeah.
So you've got to be constantly learning. It's not good enough that you can just log into your zero. You need to learn how to read the numbers, right?
Yeah. Which we found out and we shared a lot about on the weekend as well. Yeah. Very cool. All right, Kristian, my third question for you today is, what type of learning should we really consume and invest in? Say, if you're thinking, I only have 15 minutes a day, or I've only got an hour a week to spare, what would you do? Where do you invest your time?
Look, that's a tough question, right? Because it really depends what you want to learn. But firstly, if you've only got 15 minutes a day, then read a good book. Read Beyond Entrepreneurship 2.0. Read Good to Great. Read How the Mighty Fail. Read how I'm trying to think. Read books like Jim Quick, Limitless, so you can actually become limitless, or at least learn how to read faster and increase your memory. Read books that are going to help you. You might be into stories of romance and those kind of books, but they don't help me. Right? They might make me feel better, or in most cases, I'm assuming, that make most people feel worse. But ultimately, I read things that are going to feed me. Sometimes I'll go and read, controversial stuff like Jordan Peterson. I'm not sure why they all think he's controversial, but I go and read his stuff. I'll go and read Ryan Halliday's stuff on the Stoic mentality and the disciplines of people like Marcus Aurelius. Sometimes I'll go and read philosophy books just to get something different. But if I only had 15 minutes,
with the world, like what's happening in media and all that kind of stuff, do you read on that? Do you keep up with what's happening?
Because obviously owning a media company, I'm pretty versed in what's coming. So and talking at events is kind of what I have to do. But the world of media hasn't changed a lot. I mean, it's basically two forms: interruption or search. That's it. If you can get your head around that, and if you want to know more about it, you might have to attend one of our events. But I'm not going to give it away on here. I'm a bit over giving away stuff. It's been 21 days, no day off. So people talk about the hustle and the grind, and they think it's cool. I don't think it's cool. I'm looking forward to getting to Melbourne tomorrow and Friday, working with some clients, seeing people in our office, and then another strategy day on Saturday for another client, and then I'll have Sunday off. And it's going to be magic, hang out with my family. I got my daughter's school play tonight, so we're pretty pumped to see her in Annie. So I'm a bit excited. They had the matinee yesterday, and I didn't get to go because I was at work. But tonight, and Lucy sent me some photos of the pre-show because they're not allowed to take photos inside or videos inside. So I'm going to have an experience watching my daughter be an orphan.
In her first play? Is this the first one?
first all-school play, yeah.
Yeah. That's very exciting. Yes.
It's going to be
And
cool.
you'll be learning and educating yourself, watching through and probably reminiscing from things from your play days.
Yes, the days of me being an actor. But I was never very good.
Yes.
But no. So look, I think the key is if you only got 15 minutes to go, read. But if you're passionate about something, just dive into it. Feed your brain. Hang out with the 5 people that you want to be the most like, and just have a conversation. Sometimes I learn a lot from my friends. I really, I'm lucky. I've got most of my friends are way smarter than me, so I get to hang out with them, and I learn something new every time. And we normally do it over lunch. So yes, I am Sir Lunch a lot when I get the time. So I kind of don't mind. That used to be me in the old days, and not so much now. But I'm trying to fit one in every month. So it's good fun.
And when you're learning and educating yourself, you're really then feeding that strategic part of yourself then as well, aren't you? Looking for those opportunities and seeing what's next for you in your business or where things can expand.
Look, absolutely. I mean, you got to be in it to win it.
Mm-hmm.
You can ask Lorraine Bavart, our real gladiator. You got to be in it to win it. 5-time world champion karate.
Mm-hmm.
Personal trainer to Russell Crowe, personal trainer to the late Shane Warne. Glacier in the 90s hit show Gladiator and then became the Gladiator. Single mum, raised 2 amazing daughters that are both like superstar rowers. They've got good genes. But I learn a lot from her. I learn a lot from her tenacity and drive and passion and enthusiasm. And I know she's not watching, so that's why, because there's no one watching apparently. We have 0 viewers, but we got one tick. This show must really suck, Simone. Sometimes we get 30 viewers and other times we get nothing. I've got a feeling that the algorithms do not like us.
Yeah, or I think it's just Ecamm. I think sometimes Ecamm's not telling us the truth, what's happening behind all of these walls that are then leading into social media platforms. But Kristian Lavolsi, this is the hot seat Wednesday every week at 5:00. Maybe people don't like 5:00. If you have an opinion on what time you would actually like to watch us, you're more than welcome to suggest it.
And it'd be cool. If you're watching it live, hashtag live so we know. And if you're watching it afterwards, hashtag replay. Just let us know, because I'm done to death with. I love hanging out with you, and I love talking to you. But bloody hell, this stuff. We talk about it at work all the time. So it'd be great. It'd be great for other people to start listening in and telling us if it's total garbage. I mean, I'd love someone to tell me that what I talk about is just garbage. And then I'd like to interview them myself and say, let's have a conversation. Let's have a garbage-a-thon. They call them hackathons if they're tech. Let's have a garbage-a-thon. Conversation.
We'll workshop that idea. We'll workshop that one.
I really think I need those days off.
You do. Well, Kristian, it is time for you to probably move on to your next task, and so you can get out of here. Go and enjoy some time with your family, and I'm sure that play is going to be spectacular. Lavender's going to do just great. Thank you very much for your time and wisdom once again, and we will see you next week back on the hot seat, 5 p.m. Sydney time.
I will indeed, and to all of our raving fans out there of Zero, here's the outro from Adrian Lee.
Working with Kristian is a game changer. Hi, I'm Adrian Lee from GrowthLink Coaching and Consulting. I started working with Kristian in August 2020 as his LinkedIn growth consultant. We worked together on his LinkedIn brand for about 12 months before becoming business partners in Growth Outsourced late 2021. Kristian is a hidden genius. He helped me break through a significant financial target by restructuring my growth consulting online business offer. I don't know of any one person who can give you so much focus, clarity, and structure to live your purpose and get shit done. He holds you accountable to your words and gives you the tough love when you need it. I love his no BS approach to business and life. Everyone needs a Kristian Lavolsi in their life. Do whatever you have to work with Kristian. This is just the beginning for us, and I am super pumped to continue growing together. Thanks again, Kristian.